Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Modi with OddsJam, and a little unique, but there are two Tuesday night football games tonight, so I'll be doing a preview for both of those games. Obviously, right off the bat, there's huge COVID implications with both of them. The most notable being the starting quarterbacks / backup quarterback for the Washington football team. It's a similar situation to the Browns yesterday, where both the starter and the backup are currently out on the COVID list. I'm recording this at 9:45 Eastern time, so as of right now, nothing has been announced yet, but the last report that I saw was that both Heineke and Kyle Allen did not make the trip to Philly, because this is in Philly, and are currently waiting their test results. So it doesn't sound like either of them are going to play. I don't think the lines have quite caught up to that yet. So if both of them are out, then Garrett Gilbert will be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team, who was just signed. I don't believe he's taken any practice snaps with the team. So, yeah, that's not great. And then the other COVID news, both teams are missing a starting guard if you take out, obviously, the quarterback situation. The reason why this was moved was because the football team had just their entire defensive line room. Both their starting safeties are on the COVID list, so they're hit way worse than the Eagles team. So this -6.5 spread for the Eagles, hint, that is going to be one of my $100 plays for this game. I absolutely love it. There's a couple reasons why I love it. One, even if the Washington football team hadn't had crazy COVID issues, I would still be taking the Eagles to win. I don't know if I'll take them, $100 on them to cover 6.5 points, but I still think they would win and cover a more reasonable spread. Let me go to and the reason for that, so the Eagles are kind of similar to the Bills, to a much lesser extreme, in that they have a positive point differential, much higher than you would expect for the record. So you can see the Eagles and the Washington football team have the same record, but the Eagles are plus 46 while the Washington football team is minus 58. So over 100-point difference. And looking at the Eagles' schedule, so they're the kind of they're like I said, similar to the Bills, but not nearly to the extreme where when they win, they blow teams out. Week 1 against the Falcons, they won by 26. The Eagles' smallest win of the season was this win against the Panthers, where they won by 3. But if you look at their other totals, so of their 6 wins, 5 of them are by double digits or more. Well, double digits, obviously. So 26 to the Panthers. Falcons. What's that? 38 to the Lions. 17 to the Broncos to beat them by 17. 11 to the Saints. 15 to the Jets. And the only bad team that the Eagles have lost to during the stretch of, this whole season really, is the Giants. That was an ugly, ugly loss. It was Hurts' worst game of the year. Their defense only gave up 13 points to a bad Giants offense, and the Eagles' offense couldn't do anything. Obviously, a week later, they came out and they put up 33 points against the bad Jets team. That was with Minshew. While he does do some stuff that Hurts can't do, I think that Hurts playing is better for the Eagles than Minshew playing. So, and Hurts is playing. He has no injury designation. So that logic, coupled with the Washington football team maybe not even having their starting or backup quarterback, leads me to believe that this is going to be a comfortable win for the Eagles. So I'm comfortable with a 6.5 point spread. And you can get that at minus 107 on Unibet and Barstool, and that is going to be my $100 play. I guess one of my $100 plays. So I'll add that to my bet tracker there. So another player that I really like for this game. So the Browns-Raiders yesterday, I was all over that under because the Browns quarterback situation was just such a mess. And that game was an easy under. So if you can catch my drift here, I'm expecting another easy under for this Washington football team and Eagles game. So starting off at under 39.5, which is admittedly an incredibly low total. But, you see 17 points of positive expected value. You see the tie with under 40. Under 41 is close. Under 41.5. is 7 points. Under 42, you get a point. Under 42.5, you get 15 points. So that's what I'm going to settle on, is under 42.5. That's going to be my second $100 play, and that is on FanDuel Sportsbook. So the OddsJam Perfect line has this at minus 123 and plus 108. Obviously, the huge positive EV if you're getting it at minus 106. And, you know, the logic is, again, the quarterback situation for the Washington football team. And the Eagles have actually been a pretty good defense against bad quarterbacks. Again, looking at their schedule, only 17 points to the 49ers, 6 to the Falcons. And then they played a string of good teams, and they gave up over 40 points. Then they played a bad quarterback, gave up 18. Good quarterback, 28. Derek Carr is not terrible, 33. 6 to the Lions, again, good quarterback in the Chargers, 27. And then 13. So this 29 is a little bit inflated because the Saints got like 2 or 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it a game. But okay, so you see that 22. So before that, only 7 points in that. I remember this game was on a turnover, so they had the ball in the red zone. So you know, not really a fair 29-point outcome by the Saints. And then, like I said, 13 points to a bad Giants offense and 18 to the Jets. That all came in the first half. So once the Eagles defense figured some stuff out, they shut them out. So even if Heineke or Kyle Allen play, I would be surprised if the I'm canceled now. The Washington football team scores more than 20 points. And I don't think the Eagles are going to put up, you know, close to 30 like they have the past couple weeks. So the under 42.5, I think, is a great play. That's going to be, as you saw, my second $100 play for the game. Now let's refresh this positive. Let's refresh this positive EV page and see if there are any plays. So it looks like there is the under 42.5, and this is the one that I already locked in. Funny enough. So I had that page up there. I hadn't looked at it yet. And then looks like the under 39.5 is another positive expected value play. I mean, I'm not quite taking under 39.5, but it is plus 140, so maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit on it. You know what? I will. I'll do a $50 play on this one. So if the $100 one still hits, I'll still profit. But I'll do 50 on that. So yes, those are going to be my technically 3 official plays. Is the Eagles minus 6.5. That is minus 107 on Unibet and Barstool. Eagles Washington football team under 42.5, minus 106 on FanDuel. And I'm going to also take the under 39.5, but a smaller play at plus 140 on WynnBET. And now let's look at this Rams Seahawks game. So again, another game. Let me go to the injury report. Let's see, and just see if there's anything different. So last I checked, they had. All right, so sorry, I'm losing focus here. So this Rams Seahawks game, as of right now, the Rams are heavily favored, as you can see, minus 290 money line. Looking at the injuries, I believe they got most of them solved by now. So the biggest one I think that's going to end up missing is Tyler Higbee. He just went on the COVID list on Friday. I believe that big name Von Miller, who just went on Thursday, is expected to be back, but they're unsure. It's hard to say, but none of these players really move the needle that much. And then for the Seahawks, I believe the biggest name is Tyler Lockett. And I believe the logic or the reports on him is to not expect him to play because he was also added on Friday. But while Tyler Lockett is good, obviously, he's not quite the game changer, obviously, that a quarterback is. So looking at the point spread, let's see what we got here. It looks like the lines are settling on the Rams at minus 7, but it looks like the positive value is on, not really, a little bit on the Seahawks plus 7, and even a little bit more on the Eagles plus 7.5. But if you look at it here, there's also a play on the Rams minus 6.5. So this, to me, this looks like a situation where there really isn't a great play. If I were to give a prediction, which I will, I would probably take the Seahawks to cover 7.5 points. It's not a play that I'm super confident in. It's not going to be an official play that I add to my card. But if I had to give a prediction, I would take the Seahawks plus 7.5. But let's look at the total. So upon first glance, I'd probably lean towards this game going over. So it looks like there is some positive expected value on the over consistently. So starting at 44.5, there's 13 points, 8 over 45, 9 45.5, 5 over 46, and then 2 at 46.5, and then again at over 47, and over 48, and so on. So I'm going to settle. I am going to take the over. That's going to be another one of my $100 plays. So the biggest difference is this over 44.5, but minus 135 is tough odds for an over. So I'm actually going to settle on the second highest, this 9-point difference on over 120, and that looks like, over 45.5 minus 120, and that's on BetMGM. So that's going to be another one of my $100 plays. My logic for this. So the Seahawks offense had really been struggling. Let's look at their schedule since Russell Wilson came back. But the past couple weeks, they finally kind of turned it on. So he got hurt in this first game against the Rams. Came back against the Packers and looked terrible for 3 straight weeks. Shut out, 13 points, 15 points. But the past 2 weeks, admittedly not against great defenses. 49ers defense isn't bad. But they put up 30 points in both games. Obviously, the Texans defense being an absolute train wreck. So the Rams defense is probably not as good as people were expecting going into the year. I think people are a little bit disappointed because they have such high-end talent, and they traded for Von Miller. But losing defensive coordinator Brandon Staley hurt them, I think, more than people were expecting going into the year. So this isn't a game where I expect the Seahawks to struggle to move the ball like they did the first couple weeks Russell Wilson was back. And then the other side of the ball, if you look at the Rams' schedule, so they kind of had a little bit of a lull themselves where they had some bad games. Notably, this 3-game stretch, not coincidentally, when they lost 3 straight. 16 points against a bad Titans defense, 10 points against that same 49ers defense that the Seahawks put 30-plus on, and then a late run here to get 28 against the Packers, but they got shut out for 2 quarters. They had 17 heading into the fourth, and then they got 11 points late. But then last 2 weeks, 30-plus points, coupled by or highlighted by a big win against the Cardinals. Obviously, that win doesn't look as good now that the Cardinals lost to the Lions, but still a good win and still 30-plus points. So neither of these defenses are that good between the Rams and the Seahawks. I believe they have pretty middle of the average. Rams obviously a little bit better, but not a game I expect there to be a struggle for points like there was in both games yesterday, and like I expect in the Eagles-Washington football team. So I'm going to settle on, like I said, the over 45.5 being my official play for this game. Nothing on the spread. If I had to take one, I would take the Seahawks plus 7.5, but not a ton of value there. But you know what? Screw it. I will add it to my card. I want to, it'd be lame if I didn't put a prediction on there. So I'm going to have it be a smaller play. I'm going to put in a 50 burger on this one, just to have a play out there because, put my money where my mouth is. So Seahawks plus 7.5 and the over 45.5 are my 2 official plays. Now let's refresh this, see if there are any positive expected value plays. Looks like there is, and it's on the over 48.5. So a similar situation to this under 39.5 where you sell some points to get better odds. I don't hate this, honestly, the over 48. Obviously, my big play was the over 46.5. Extra 3 points to hit the over isn't terrible. I'm going to add this to my card as well, giving myself 6 total picks that I will sum up at the end. So my bet tracker, these 6 picks are going to be my 6 plays. So for the Eagles football team game, we got 2 unders, under 42.5, under 39.5, and we got the Eagles minus 6.5. The Eagles minus 6.5 is on Unibet. Under 42.5 is on FanDuel. Under 39.5 is on WynnBET. And then I got also 3 plays for the Seahawks-Rams game, almost exact opposite, where I'm taking the underdog to cover, Seahawks plus 7.5. That's on FanDuel. And I'm taking 2 different totals of the over 45.5 on BetMGM and over 48.5 for plus 130 on WynnBET. And those are going to be my 6 plays. So let me know what you think. Obviously, I love to hear feedback, positive, negative, whatever I can do to improve, let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter at Modi_sports. You can email me, Matthew@oddsjam.com. And you can also comment on the video below as well. Make sure to comment or make sure to check the comments. But that's all I got for you. So other than that, please rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff to the channel to help us grow. And that's it. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.